Who are you? Think about it. Is who you are now who you were meant to be? At Baker College, we want to help you be more. More curious, more productive, more effective, and be more successful at it all. We can help you be more prepared for the future and more inspiring to future generations. The world is full of opportunities to be more than the status quo. The question is, are you ready to be more?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome inside historic Kiowa Stadium for tonight's very special friendly, the newest edition of Liga MX in town, FC Juárez, for a friendly international exhibition against Detroit City FC. Alongside my broadcast partner, John Krieger. My name is Neil Rule. Happy to have you with us wherever you may be watching around the world. Let's take a look at the starting 11 for Detroit City FC. And John Krieger, late word came down. Cyrus Sadie, originally scheduled to be in the starting 11, not available due to a little bit of a minor injury situation. So on the precaution side, Cyrus will not be available tonight. But hey, it's always nice when you got a go-to guy like Max Todd that you can slide in the fold as well. Abdoulaye Diop as well. Certainly goal scoring is not something that will be suffering for Detroit City FC because Shawn Lawson's in there.
And as you said, Max Todd as well. You know, the man in the starting lineup I like to see, George Chomakov, number 99 there in the middle. Longtime servant of the club. Been there through thick and thin for Detroit City. Always been a body early and late in the season when some of the college kids in the amateur days couldn't get here in time and they needed people to play and train. George gets the starts tonight, and that's a wonderful thing to see. But for guys like Lawson and Todd, a chance to prove themselves and show themselves against a professional side from Liga MX. And you know what? As we've seen in previous international series matches, they always seem to step it up a notch on nights like this.
No question about that. The Northern Guard, they always seem to step it up a notch as well for these very special occasions. FC Juárez, founded in 2015. They won the Ascenso MX title in 2015. Now their ownership group purchased Lobos Buap from Liga MX last month, so they will play in Liga MX this year as FC Juárez, and they will open up their season against Atlas on July 19th. To open up Liga MX play, their head coach, Gabriel Caballero, he was the manager of Pachuca in 2013 in Liga MX. Now, as a player, he had 8 matches played for the Mexican national team, won the CONCACAF Champions League in back-to-back seasons with Pachuca in 07 and 08. And keep in mind, folks, these are big-time professional players. FC Juárez traveled a very experienced roster of guys that have made their living playing soccer.
You know what, and Caballero also played in World Cup in Japan and Korea, so he's got great experience on the touchline. You know, it's always interesting when we look at these international squads. You can go to some of the soccer sites. Transfer Market is one. There are a couple others. And you can always tell the guys that are in and kind of fighting for their place, they don't have a number next to their name. The guys that have been there before, that are part of your mainstays of your roster, they all have their numbers, their positions, and I always find it interesting to see how many of those guys we know the numbers of make the starting 11 in a friendly like this. You're right, it's a very strong roster. They know they have to make a step up. They finished near the bottom of Ascenso MX last year, bought their way, and by purchasing Lobos Buap, bought their way into the top flight, and they know they're going to have to step it up against what is the best league professionally in North America.
As always, tonight's Watch City stream brought to you by the good folks at Baker College. Again, Neil Rule, John Krieger with you. Happy to have you with us wherever you're watching around the world, here in America, down in Mexico as well. Happy to be with you this evening. FC Juárez with the control on the right side. Alberto Acosta plays that one. It's defended. Abdoulaye Diop over the line. Quick throw-in that Detroit City FC will clear. Tendai Jadida plays it up to the middle. Of course, Detroit City FC, a glorious win over Ann Arbor last weekend. Shawn Lawson, the ultimate closer with the hat trick in that match. And that closed things out for the Great Lakes Conference Division. Detroit City FC, John, the champion, regardless of what happens in Kalamazoo, but still some things to settle this weekend. But tonight, it's about this, the International Series. A big thank you to the folks at Strategic Staffing Solutions for everything that they have done. and this is a lot of fun here this evening, getting a look at one of the very best clubs in the world.
It is. You know what? You're playing with house money at that point because you've already wrapped up the conference championship. You want to go get the win against Kalamazoo at the weekend, but you're not going in knowing you need points to make the playoffs. You can kind of relax a little bit and play, and I think we're going to see probably a fair amount of subs tonight by Trevor James. He's going to give some guys some runouts. He's going to give some guys some rest. He's also going to see what some of these players on his squad can do, because you're starting to get into the countdown now, Neil, where you got to make decisions about your squad for the professional season and Founders Cup. What better way to test some of your players than against this professional side? So friendly, yes, and not a whole lot of pressure, yes, but still a lot of things we can learn for City tonight.
It's fitting going up against a professional squad when you talk about that, John, because those are certainly the decisions that Detroit City FC and Trevor James will have to make in a very short amount of time. There is no question about that. Detroit City in their usual Le Rouge here this evening. FC Juárez in their road green kits with the black shorts. Pass sent up ahead. Mauro Fernandez, the target. Fernandez, 30 years old. 63 matches played and 5 career goals for FC Juárez during his time there.
You know, I take a look at the Juárez formation tonight. Technically, it's a 3-5-2, just like City. But Juárez is going to try to assert their physical nature. That back three is really a back one at the moment. Jonathan Lacerda is your middle center back. The other two center backs have crept forward and been pressing forward to add into what is almost a midfield 7 as they try to keep pressure on City. What that does is allow, if City can get the ball the way Trevor James wants it to in his system on counter, the ability to advance on counters, and that's what we saw there. All of a sudden, the outside center backs in that back three had to come back, and they were too far forward. It opened up the passing lanes for City to try to make their first foray into attacking third.
Here's your kickoff weather for tonight's match at Keyworth Stadium. Very warm, very muggy, 89 degrees. Temperatures over the 90-degree mark much of the day here in Hamtramck. Very toasty. It's got to be over 100 degrees out on the pitch. Baking in the sun all afternoon long. We're 4 minutes into this one. FC Juárez with a good deal of possession. Detroit City FC looking to play the counter game here early, John.
Yeah, and they get a foul. They're going to be able to get something set up here, and I think you might be able to see some players come further forward. Very interesting to see how FC Juárez has taken this friendly early. You know, sometimes you get international sides that'll come into a friendly like this against an opponent that on paper they have more talent than professionally, and they treat it like a glorified kickabout. That is not the case here. There have been a couple of heavy challenges early. There's pressure on the ball. They know that just like City in some regards, they're having to fight to prove themselves. You've got a couple of new transfers in for FC Juárez as they look to strengthen their roster as they go up into Liga MX, and they're going to want to prove to Caballero that they belong as well. But that's a nice takeaway there by City, forcing Lacerda back. Nice pressure by the City front line.
Danny Deacon in the mix. Max Todd steps up. Todd hit the turf. Was looking for the call. Did not get it. And Diop stepping through into the 18. Diop still with it. The double team comes, and FC Juárez will recover to take the possession away, but not for long. Jadida had it. Here's Danny Deacon. Becky Goodman will send it back. Detroit City FC will regroup. Chrysler to the right side.
You know, defensively, Juárez, Neil, it's almost like they're trying to bait Detroit City into a pass. They're sagging back defensively, but it's only about half a step back because they know they have the pace to compete. And so you'll see defenders sagging off into, and there'll be a bit of space for Detroit City to pass into or dribble into. But the minute you step in there, it's like putting your foot in a bear trap. And all of a sudden, there's defenders that know you're coming and close down on the ball. City need to prepare for that and be quicker on passes.
And here's Jadida with some pace up that left touchline. Jadida's cross into Max Todd. Todd still with it. And the keeper, Ivan Vasquez, goes down to the turf to make the grab. Vasquez, the veteran known as El Terrible. 209 matches played for Necaxa from 2004 to 2014. Also scored 2 goals during his professional career on free kicks. He's played 62 matches for FC Juárez. Ivan Vasquez, a veteran.
Nice job by Todd to work around there. Survived a pretty physical challenge and was able to still get through on goal.
And as always, we'll be taking your tweets with the hashtag WatchCity. We'll get to those as the evening allows. Allison Switzer is manning the Watch City fort from Mobile on her own tonight. Still has the Cats, though.
Somewhere, NGS Archimedes is probably finding a mousy. Honestly, one of my favorite Twitter handles in the entire world. I'm a cat person, what can I say?
FC Juárez now on the attack. Cross it in. The header goes just wide of the left post. Dangerous opportunity. Flavio Santos, the 32-year-old, nearly found the back of the net.
Very quick and nice service. That's the mark of a good professional player when you can drop service in like that.
Santos, an 11-year professional, over 100 matches played with Atlas of Liga MX. Also, 3 goals for the Mexican U20 national team in 2006. And you go up and down this FC Juárez roster, and there are guys that played in Copa America early this month. There's guys that have played in World Cups, Olympics, Olympic development, the entire spectrum of professional soccer well represented, as you might expect, from a First Division Mexican side.
And they've done a nice job in the closed season here between Mexican seasons in adding some talent to the squad as well.
Santos
that's a nice cutout.
Went to the right side, and that ball was taken away. Jadida looking for Max Todd.
Now this is that close down we're talking about. Todd tried to dribble toward the corner. If he'd picked his head up, he had a couple of men going through the middle, and there were passing lanes, and all of a sudden possession is lost.
I've been keeping my eye on Shawn Lawson. He is being marked by 1, 2, sometimes 3 defenders in the middle of the pitch. And I think, John, that's reflective of the possession that City has had out on the wings. And you notice this, and this is something you've brought up in the past, the better the team, the more in unison the defenders are. And that is the case as you get a look at Shawn Lawson. In the top 5 in the country in MPSL and goal scoring, leads the Midwest region. Shawn Lawson's done it all, as a matter of fact, now the all-time leading goal scorer for Detroit City FC.
And I'll tell you what, averaging just under a goal a game, mind you. That's pretty good for a man like Lawson, who has really come of age wearing rouge and gold.
Boy, how about that display of Alberto Acosta to keep that ball in along the touchline.
Interesting. Normally, international teams, and this, by the way, is a credit to the renovations here at Keyworth. Normally, international sides, especially ones that play on grass, take a minute or two to get used to the artificial surface here. Brand new surface here at Keyworth this year. Plays moving along nicely, flowing very well. Part of the continued growth of this club in this community. You know, we haven't talked a whole lot about the surface except to talk about the fact that it runs quickly in the rain, as we discovered on a couple of nights, but again, fitting for a stage like this. There, now that is a nice move on the ball. Now turn, control, that's a foul, but that's all right.
Diop was shut down. Here's Fernandez. Fernandez lets it go just over top of the crossbar. Boy, Mauro Fernandez, the dipping shot, that was on its way down as it went over the crossbar.
Tell you what, that's
different. That's a different level right there.
He is able to put some movement on the ball that we don't often see
right.
in the NPSL. And for the record, you're going to have to watch that if you're Hunter Morse. You're going to have to watch the fact that it's going to look different to you, and it's not the same kind of shot that you're used to seeing in the NPSL, where the trajectory will rise and spin will take it over the bar. It's going to dip. You've got to be ready and never assume that it's a save you don't need to make. A lot of space on the near wing for Juárez if they can get it there. What
Jefferson in Triago spins with it to midfield.
What I like from the last 5 minutes from City, they're moving into the match, and they're much more aggressive defensively.
Santos working 1v1 versus Jadida. His cross goes all the way across the pitch. Nelson Diaz will take it.
That's a great job by Tendai. He was a step behind at the start of that run, caught up, forced the service to go all the way across.
Acosta. FC Juárez settling into this possession. Elio Castro will get it back. Jalen Chrysler over to defend, and Will Perkins doesn't get everything he wanted on it. Could be a developing situation, and a handball will be called against George Chamakov. And this will be a dangerous setup for FC Juárez, as we will get a look at what they're packing on a set piece just in the left corner of the 18.
You know, Trevor James' boys, on paper, it's a 3-5-2 right now. For most of this first half, when Juárez has the ball, it's been 5 people in defense, 5-3-2 with people dropping back. The wing players have been forced back a little bit. And you're right, a very dangerous area, about 22 yards out.
Right foot attempt. It's curled wide of the left post. So that shot was given a go by Lucas Xavier Silva, the native of Sao Paulo, Brazil. 24 years old, one of the younger players in action today for FC Juárez. Had a goal for Dorados de Sinaloa in the 2017 Copa MX. That was his first ever match started for Juárez. That's always big time. Get your first ever start, get your first ever goal in Copa MX play.
You know, we haven't seen them get the ball much tonight, Todd and Lawson, but I'm going to give a nod to your boy Eric Pogue, who pointed this out last week. They've learned from the first half of last week's game. Todd and Lawson staying further apart on the pitch up front, forcing the 3 center backs for Juárez to respect both sides of the pitch in the early going. First half against Grand Rapids, they were rather bunched up. It allows for easy marking. And with about 5 minutes to go in the half, they spread out, and it really opened the offense for City. And we're seeing that again tonight. They're holding their positions and forcing respect touchline to touchline.
Acosta with some space. Sends it inside the 18. Diop defending. Jadida comes over as well. And Diop wins that battle. It's touched over the line. Next time you come to Keyworth Stadium, be sure to take advantage of Wheelhouse Detroit's free bike valet. Check out wheelhousedetroit.com to learn more about the best tours of Detroit on 2 wheels. Just about into the 16th minute. No score early on. Neil Rule, John Krieger with you. Our Watch City stream brought to you by Baker College. Max Todd with a brilliant move. And Todd stepping through, losing his balance, goes down to the turf. Here's Shawn Lawson, 1v3. Lawson has it. Lawson, too heavy on the touch as the ball crosses over the goal line.
And the referee gave the Dikembe Mutombo no signal on Todd. Watch the arm on the back there. He grabbed his jersey. Now Todd loses his footing, but there was contact there. The referee just saying there's not enough for a foul. And then this is just 3 professional defenders closing Shawn Lawson down.
Fernandez oversteps. And now Fernandez will get it back off of the takeaway. But then it's taken back from him. And here's Diop. Lets it go to Bakey Goodman. Deacon tried to turn with it. But again, look at that control by Alberto Acosta. Acosta's 31 years old. He's on loan from Tigres. He had a hat trick for Manzanillo versus Pumas in 2012. Quite the professional resume.
You know, it's interesting. You and I talk every time we have the international series by Strategic Staffing Solutions. Every time we see these teams come in, you can see the difference as you go up the professional ladder. by the first touch and the ability to keep the ball about a yard off your boot instead of having to run it down, those heavy touches that allow defenders to step in. None of those here for Juárez. Moving the ball very well, keeping the ball just about a yard off your boot, and then stepping into passes.
Intriago switches towards the left side. Jefferson Intriago, very interesting as well. Here's Shawn Lawson. Max Todd jumps up into the play. Todd on the left side has Lawson. Todd to Lawson. It's in the back of the net. Brilliance. The cross from Max Todd, and one of the best goal scorers in all the NPSL, and the best to ever do it for City, does it again.
He gets the brilliant finish, but Neil, the brilliant move by Shawn Lawson happened in the center circle. When he started to run and he picked up his head and he had the option to go to his right and challenge a defender, and he picked up his head and saw Max unmarked and then passed it off and continued his own run and got in a position because Todd knew, look at this, touch in, and there's the touch forward. Now he picks his head up, thinking about going right, lays it off to the left, then continues his run, and when Todd gets closed down, beats his marker, finish. That's a heck of a 1-2 play, and that's an example of the relationship that Todd and Lawson have. A start by Shawn, a finish by Shawn, and the service by Max, simply perfect.
City takes the lead, the Northern Guard. Heavy with the smoke here in the 19th minute. And there is some juice in the building, as you figured there might be. Allison Diaz plays it back. And John, I'll tell you, the initial possession here after the goal, that goal seems to have taken FC Juárez aback just a little bit.
You know, it happens sometimes. You know when we saw that last Venezia? The first time Detroit City FC scored against Venezia, and you had those Italian players from Serie B who'd gotten scored on by a bunch of amateurs from Michigan get out and challenge that ball. There we go.
Oh, Infinity will clear it off the line, out of harm's way.
And so you're this professional team. All of a sudden, these guys from Michigan score on you, and you're thinking, well, this isn't supposed to happen. And it'll take a minute. They'll warm back into the game, but there is always that kind of, you know, I go back to, I think it was James Buster Douglas talking about beating Mike Tyson, and he said everybody's got a plan till they get punched in the mouth.
Right.
And that's a punch in the mouth.
I'll tell you what, Max Todd is a problem right now for FC Juárez. He has been dynamic here in the first 19 minutes plus. Alberto Acosta flips it up. And Detroit City FC, after scoring the goal, looking even more resolute right now.
Better passes, better movement. Moving the ball with a little more purpose. Players without the ball moving better at the moment. And it's interesting, Juárez here, their front line, which is supposed to be a front two, they're trying to press up, and City picking out some holes in that midfield. And that's a nice play out to the wing to continue to move things.
Danny Deacon, the former MLS Super Draft pick, 2017 by Orlando City. Jadida goes to Max Todd. Todd to Lawson, back to Todd. Todd unable to walk it through. But again, Max Todd, Shawn Lawson. Maybe the best combo this city's seen since Trammell and Whitaker.
And I'll tell you what, they're turning to and going right back to each other really well. And Max Todd was about half a stride for making it 2-0. Keeper was in no man's land. He thought about coming out and trying to claim that ball, then took a step back. If it wasn't for a little shoulder bump, Todd has the space and he'll slot it home.
Tendai Jadida upset with himself, losing out on that possession. Jadida Played with the Cincinnati Dutch Lions of USL League Two last season. Ball sent out to the right side. Alberto Acosta again. It's been a heavy right-sided attack. Fernandez spinning. He's double marked.
Jadita's pace has been a problem for Juárez tonight. I don't think they counted on that. There are a couple of pacey kids for the city that are going to give Juárez some problems.
Good control of that pass by Elson Diaz. We move into the 23rd minute. 1-0 Detroit City with the lead. Shawn Lawson in the 18th minute. If you're just joining us, you missed out on one of the better goals you will ever see.
Something tells me it might make the Twitter highlights produced by Lindsey Pearson this week.
That's certainly
something tells me maybe.
That cross is sent in. It's played away. Jadita will pop it up high inside the 18, and George Chamakov steps up. Can they build a counter out of it? Deacon swings out wide.
Oh, that's dangerous. Come get it. Can't wait for the ball to get to you.
Not against professionals. You certainly can't. That ball sent wide of the left post by Flavio Santos. And it goes just over the line. Folding Warehouse is the official pre-match bar of Detroit City FC. Next time you come to a Detroit City FC home match, be sure to stop by Folding Warehouse beforehand to take part in the official March to the Match. Saw the guys from Folding Warehouse at the Detroit Sports Broadcasters golf outing on Monday. Got hooked up with a hat. I rocked it.
You know, and I forgot. I'm sorry. It's taken me 23 and a half minutes. Congratulations, champ.
Oh, yeah, we did win that.
Is there a golf outing you don't win?
I didn't win the DCFC one last year.
Rocket Mortgage Pro-Am, maybe?
We got to get some crowdfunding together to get that $10,000 entry fee taken care of.
Yeah, I figure you'll take care of it somehow.
24th minute here. City, a dream start, getting the early goal. FC Juárez certainly taken aback. The newest addition to Liga MX finds themselves trailing here in Hamtramck.
I like the assertiveness of Tendai there. Just steps in. City looked a little stagnant in midfield. Tendai just quarterbacked it a little bit. Send it back, let's reset things. He's being given about 5 yards of space on the near side touchline. This is ripe for crossing it over and hoofing it up to the wing if you can get it to him.
How about this experience, too, for Owen Finnerty, who played for the USA U18 national team, the 3-star recruit commit to Michigan.
How about this one?
In this big-time matchup.
Graduating from, let's see, May, graduate from CC. July, playing against Liga MX Club.
Right.
It's not bad.
Pretty cool.
You know, hey, how'd you spend your summer vacation?
Played in front of 7,000 fans every match and went against the newest pro team in Mexico. You know.
Get featured in the
some
Athletic.
light work.
You know.
Jalen Chrysler will send it back to Owen Finnerty, of course.
How about his goal line clearance on Sunday in Ann Arbor?
No question. A dominant performance by City in the 7-3-4.
You know, it's interesting. A little more respect being paid. You remember how in about the 5th minute I told you that it was really Lacerda in the middle and the two other center backs were creeping forward? Not anymore.
Right.
They're back in that professional back three. They got stung once, and now you're seeing 2 or 3 of those center backs staying back. Nice touch. Now go get it. That's going to be the biggest problem today. Danny Deacon in the NPSL there, he can wait for that ball to get there. They're calling for a hydration break. Here, you got to go get the pass. Step into the pass. Move into the pass. Especially on those close quarters passes like that.
And that will get us a chance. And a nice hand from the crowd here at Keyworth for the home side, who has the 1-0 lead. Gives me an opportunity to catch up with your Watch City tweets at Lunabird444. Watching in Portland, Oregon. Wish I could be there, missing my Detroit friends. Jay Davidson 1. I'm in Pittsburgh tonight. Shout out to all my Fago swilling guards at Keyworth. Okay, maybe a little Strohs as well. And that man has started the party, Shawn Lawson. one of the finest goals of the season.
It was a brilliant finish.
In the battle of beer kits as well, of course, the Stroh's Detroit Lager on the front for Detroit City FC. Tecate on the back of the FC Juárez kits.
You know, I'm going with Stroh's. I think that's Stroh's all day.
I do enjoy Tecate, though. I'm not going to lie to you.
I have never had one.
No? Oh, you got to do that.
I've never had a Tecate.
There is Trevor James in his first season. Spent 10 years in the MLS as an assistant coach at the LA Galaxy and the Portland Timbers. Was a director of scouting for the Chicago Fire as well. A proven eye for professional talent. Don't believe me? Look at the resume. Look at what's happened this season for Detroit City FC in MPSL play, John. I mean, they were as dominant as we've seen a team be in the Great Lakes Conference Division in a long time.
Well, let's see. You play 14 matches in the regular season. You threw 13 of them, and you're on an 11-match unbeaten run. That'll play. That'll play really well. But you know what I love most about Trevor James? You and I were having a little chat with him before Friday's match here against Grand Rapids. And we were asking him technical questions, and he was giving us technical answers. But you know what a part of about – I asked him about 7, 8 questions, and a part of 5 of those answers. We think it's a fun brand of football to watch. We think the fans will enjoy it. We think they'll enjoy our style of play. We think they'll respect our style of play. I don't think I've heard a manager make an effort so much to the point where it was over 60% of the questions I asked to admit that part of the way he chooses to set up his team and play the game is in a way he believes is befitting and deserved by the supporters. It's not 1-0, 1-0 boring ball, even though, hey, wins are wins. But he wants to not only have his teams play well, he wants to do so in a pleasing way, in a way that he believes the game is beautiful. And that says something that a coach, that a manager would have that in his mind. And I think that deserves a lot of praise.
Here's Mauro Fernandez on the right side, working against Jadida. Fernandez gets through, crosses it, played out by Stephen Carroll, last year's Black Arrow Award winner, standing tall in the middle.
Brilliant job by Jadida to use the shoulder to close the body, force it toward the touchline. Service was the avenue for service smaller because of it. Really impressed by Tendai today.
Throw-in coming up for Detroit City. More tweets for the hashtag WatchCity. Our good friend Gus Macker, Emperor of the Florida Keys. I thought it was Shawn Lawson. I will not comment on that situation. Either. And here is Lawson again. He is buzzing tonight. Bakey Goodman settles it down to Deacon.
Nice touch.
Bakey Goodman tried to make the turn. The ball was cleared out by Castro. But I think, John, it echoes your sentiment, what you talked about. You're seeing the respect that FC Juárez has for City. That ball thrown into the 18. Shawn Lawson has it, top of the D. Lawson hesitates, makes his move. Just out of the reach of Max Todd as he kicks the air. If he was on the end of that, it was going to be 2-0 City.
You know, I'm not going to get mad at you. That was a heck of an attempt. He had 2 choices. Could have gone to Todd. Also had Bakey Goodman coming into the side with a lane. But when you have 12 goals on the season and or 12 goals in league play and you've already scored one tonight, I'll let you take a lash and see what happens.
Stephen Carroll in the 1v1. He wins that battle.
That's a foul,
Stepping over, the whistle sounds. Mauro Fernandez went airborne over the top of Lay Diop. Restart coming up from City. Wes Sutton tweets at us from South Mississippi in my new black kit, waiting for the storm to hit. So help me God if this weather takes out my power or internet. I'll tell you what, Wes, I'm making the guarantee. We'll get you. We'll get you to 9 o'clock, 9:30 Eastern time tonight. I promise you. I'll put that on my shoulders.
And then you want to watch the replay. That'll help you ride out the storm.
There you go. 32nd minute. 1-0 City in the lead. Of course, Detroit City excited to have Henry Ford Health Systems as the official sports medicine provider of DCFC. Learn more at henryford.com. FC Juárez of Liga MX unable to keep the possession along that right touchline. Flavio Santos
So
had it off the end of his foot.
The 5 in midfield for City have kind of segmented themselves a little bit. You now have, I talked about the fact that the back 2 have, were back helping the defense, and 2 of the 5 were back helping the defense. They've come forward a little bit. You now have a bit of a diamond formation in midfield, and that finally got Bakey Goodman involved.
Here's Chrysler through the middle to Bakey. Danny Deacon with some space goes ahead to Max Todd. Todd into the left corner. His cross sent into the box. Nobody on the other end for City. Instead, it goes directly to Lucas Xavier Silva.
I don't think Max was expecting that ball, but he tried to make some service of it. I think he was also expecting Shawn to go to the post, put a little too much underneath it.
Jefferson Intriago with the possession. Started the match for Uruguay earlier this month, versus Uruguay in Copa America play.
So with all due respect to TFC Windsor, who has been a regular international opponent, this the 7th match for City against international opposition that is not Canadian. In the previous 6, 2 wins, 1 draw, and 3 losses. The draw against FC United of Manchester, the wins over Glentoran and Venezia. The losses all came last year. FC St. Pauli, Necaxa, and Frosinone. It is worth noting, I believe, that those 3 opponents were probably the class of the field in terms of talent. But it's always interesting to me as I watch this international series grow, the quality of opponent that has been able to come in and how City has played with them and hung with them. I think it's, got to go get that again, getting let off there.
FC Juárez takes it away. Santos goes to the right side. Shot! Curled just wide of the crossbar.
I'm really impressed with Owen Finnerty on that. Didn't get rattled. Stayed composed, tracked the ball really well. In the end, not really a threat, but the young'un between the sticks showing he is wise beyond his years.
Throw-in coming up for FC Juárez as we take another look.
So the giveaway, you don't want the giveaway, but Finnerty there waiting. He's on the near post. Then the service comes in, and Owen was beat there, but he's tracking and not getting rattled by it as the service comes in.
Elio Castro puts a little too much mustard on the hot dog as he sends it all the way across the pitch and over the touchline. We're more than a third of the way through of our Watch City stream, brought to you by Baker College. Neil Rule, John Krieger with you. Happy to have you with us wherever you're watching around the world. Special hello to our friends in Mexico, getting a look at their side ahead of Liga MX play. That ball sent over the line. More opportunity for us to get to some of your tweets with the hashtag WatchCity. Sarcasmotron 501 enjoying the quality broadcast as usual. Some nice words for both teams as well. Allison Switzer, speaking of the storm that's brewing down in the Gulf of Mexico, I was happy to see our projected rainfall went down to 6 to 10 inches. And that certainly is something we will be keeping an eye on as well. Thinking of our friends down there on the Gulf Coast.
You stay safe. We want you around for the rest of the season.
No question about it. That storm activity made the plane I was on this morning take a bit of a detour, going up the other coast of Florida. FC Juárez playing it through the middle. Some good build-up. There's a volley that will trickle home along the right post. Tremendous finish for the Liga MX side. Eder Borelli will get the goal. Borelli, whose father Jorge played for Tigres. Over 80 career matches played for Juárez FC. Gets the goal here.
Nice touch through. And a nice one-touch volley. Nothing Finnerty can do there. Just well placed. And rather an unfortunate bounce of the ball to get it to him. City with a little bit took the foot off the gas. There in your own third, and the professional side makes you pay, and a nice finish.
That was a quality finish by Borelli. Keep in mind, too, Borelli came back really kind of a holding mid-roll. He came all the way up. Made City pay. Diop tries to find Max Todd. Lacerda will escort that one back to the keeper.
You know what, Neil, I'm beginning to sound like a broken record, but right now you have Juárez has figured out City is not coming to the ball. They're chasing down every pass because the ball is dying a little bit out there on some of the closer passes in midfield. City need to coming up about half a yard short.
Here's Santos, threads it through, stepping over, another finish, and a goal for FC Juárez. Lucas Xavier Silva, and in the blink of an eye, Juárez has a 2-1 lead.
Got the keeper to come, beat him. Easy as pie, cool as you like, into the back of the net. Quick strike offense. Infinity had to try and come. Beautiful feed forward into space. Infinity didn't come out fast enough to claim. Striker gets there, slots it home, 2-1.
So FC Juárez, I think, John, answers the early questions that Detroit City had asked of them.
Yeah, they've passed. This is
yes, they have.
Just a reminder, fellas, we do this for a living. Nice that you scored first. Let's see how you do.
Long ball sent up ahead and sent through. Remember, fans, Lyft is the official rideshare partner of Detroit City FC. Be sure to take a Lyft the next time you come to a match here at historic Keyworth Stadium. Long ball sent ahead again. Here's Santos trying to get on the end, but Jalen Chrysler closes the door. Former member of the Seattle Sounders U23 side, scored a goal during his time there. Throw-in coming up for FC Juárez. Corner served in.
Quickly off the
Chrysler serves
throw.
it back out.
How quickly they move that in, Neil. Just throw, one-touch service.
Bakey Goodman had it initially. Now there's Max Todd. Detroit City looking to counter. Pass was anticipated by Borelli. Acosta to the middle. And there's Intriago dropping it back. Nice little month for Jefferson Intriago as well. We talked about it. Plays for the Ecuador national team. Played against Uruguay in Copa America back on June 16th. Giving it a go with the left foot from the top of the 18 was Flavio Santos, and he sends it over top of the wall.
Such a silky build-up by FC Juárez. Nobody had the ball for more than two touch. One touch control, one touch serve. There you go. One touch control, one touch serve. And
ball hopped up on him a little bit,
yeah,
it looked like.
Just checked up a little bit, but you move it that fast. When you go from chest to boot to the next man, to chest to boot to the next man, touch, touch, go. So hard to defend, so hard, especially when you're moving it back and forth. Wrong foot defenders really easily.
Well, John, I think there's no question Detroit City came out here and stunned FC Juárez and stunned them like a boxing match. Here's Max Todd, who was responsible for that. Todd goes to the corner looking for Shawn Lawson, but that ball will trickle over. And they stunned him for a couple of minutes, FC Juárez. But finally able to gather themselves and striking very quickly in the span of a minute and a half. They put two on the board. And now we're seeing a very confident FC Juárez team. Over the course of 15 minutes, how a match can change.
Well, and part of it is, look, you go out there and once they got scored on, all of a sudden you gotta do that mental check. But then you remember why you're on the field, and that's because you're a professional football player playing in Mexico's top flight, and they figured out a way to adjust. I think they'd never seen City before. You know, you're getting a look at the guys across from you in the other colored shirts, and you're figuring out the way you can beat them. And their ball movement got much better, Neil. Their ball movement got much better. It got much quicker. They realized that the way they were going to beat City was just to keep the ball moving, and they have done very well. But if I'm Trevor James in the next 3 minutes, I remind my team we were up 1-0.
Here's Lawson. Thought about the cross. Instead, we'll send it back. Danny Deacon under some pressure. Rolls around it. Deacon through to Bakey Goodman, and the flag is up. And there were about 1,500, 2,000 referees right there in that section that disagreed with that call. But they don't have the flag in their hand.
No, they don't. Nor do they have a whistle in the middle. But I will say this about the Northern Guard. They do go real estate shopping for the intracranial dwelling along that fence line. I think they broke a couple of Grand Rapids players on Friday. That always makes me smile, I've got to admit.
Lots of viewers in Portland here tonight.
Lunabird 4-4. One step away there from being in with space.
Lunabird 444 tweeting at us, 2 matches in 1 day. Watching Detroit City friendly, then the Timbers FC tonight and U.S. Open Cup match. Wonder who will be getting the starting goal if my guy Steve Clark, former Golden Grizzly great, who's been putting on a show out there in Portland as of late, will get the start.
Nice takeaway by Lay.
Diop over to Shawn Lawson. Speaking of Golden Grizzlies, he threads it to Max Todd. Todd towards the back post, just over top of Shawn Lawson. But we continue to get a look at this chemistry that builds between Max Todd and Shawn Lawson. They are certainly peaking at the right time, John.
And the only reason it's not 2-2 right now is because of number 15 for FC Juárez, who was in the middle. That's Jefferson Intriago. Max Todd knew Intriago, a good player in the air, and he was in the middle, and he had to give the service enough to get over a potential breakup by him, and it didn't get back down in time to find Lawson. But you're right, the 1-2 between Todd and Lawson is amazing.
Talking about Intriago, and I know I brought it up earlier, but yeah, you're talking about, that guy that played in Copa America earlier this month that started for Ecuador.
I got to try to beat him.
And started 153 matches in Serie A in Ecuador as well. That guy, that's the guy you got to beat.
But you know what the thing is, Neil? They're running with him.
There's no question.
You understand, it's a closed season friendly. You could argue that perhaps FC Juárez is not going at 200% tonight. They're getting back into shape. They're getting ready for the start of their professional season. But with the effort they are choosing to put in, these college kids and soon-to-be professionals for some of them are giving them a good run. And that's something that you can hold your heads up with through the first 45 minutes.
There'll be 2 minutes of stoppage time. Ivan Vasquez punches it up towards midfield. Tendai Jadida won the possession, but here comes FC Juárez on the far left side, working against Will Perkins. Stepping through, Chrysler once again stands tall. Chrysler literally stands tall.
Nice job by Jalen Chrysler. Shut that down. And nice job by Lay Diop to come back, track back in midfield and be an extra body to disrupt a passing lane.
Fernandez, 1v1 to Acosta. Acosta thought about the shot. Toe pokes it ahead. It's cleared out by Stephen Carroll temporarily. Fernandez, his cross, infinity off the line to make the grab.
You know what? We're talking a lot about Todd and Lawson has the goal for City tonight. Unsung heroes, Lay Diop and Tendai Jadida. Their pace has been something that has shut down the wingers in the 3-5-2 for FC Juárez for a lot of this match. And I love their all-out effort. Both of them tracking back further than they normally do, stepping in, trying to be a body for passes. Really good play.
Another tweet here from Portland. DW from Detroit eating some Better Made hot cheese popcorn as I watch City tonight in Portland. Go City.
Now I want some.
The whistle sounds and the first half wraps up. Very entertaining first 45 minutes of play between Detroit City FC and FC Juárez of Liga MX. And, John, there's no question these fans here at Keyworth have gotten their money's worth through the first half of play.
You know what? They're getting treated to a show. They got treated at one of the best goals you'll ever see a City player score. They saw their team in lead 1-0, and if it wasn't for a 2-minute stretch, minute and a half stretch, you'd have the lead and be headed into halftime with the advantage against the Liga MX side. A lot to be proud of for Trevor James, a lot to be proud of in the way City has played. Nothing bad as we head into the second half.
So we will take a halftime break here on our Watch City stream, brought to you by Baker College. 2-1, FC Juárez with the lead.
Who are you? Think about it. Is who you are now who you were meant to be? At Baker College, we want to help you be more. More curious, more productive, more effective, and be more successful at it all. We can help you be more prepared for the future and more inspiring to future generations. The world is full of opportunities to be more than the status quo. The question is, are you ready to be more? Who are you? Think about it. Is who you are now who you were meant to be? At Baker College, we want to help you be more. More curious, more productive, more effective, and be more successful at it all. We can help you be more prepared for the future and more inspiring to future generations. The world is full of opportunities to be more than the status quo. The question is, are you ready to be more?
Welcome back inside historic Keyworth Stadium. 2-1 FC Juárez with the lead. Neil Rule, John Krieger back with you through 45 minutes of play as we get ready to roll here for the second half. And John, as you look at what happened, Detroit City FC, if you're just tuning in, took the lead in the 18th minute. One of the higher quality goals you're ever going to see, Max Todd to Shawn Lawson, who finished it off. FC Juárez was staggered for a few moments, but being the professionals they are, they collected themselves. A goal from Borelli in the 37th minute, followed closely by a goal from Lucas Xavier Silva in the 38th minute. 2-1 FC Juárez. And John, what does Detroit City FC have to do here in this second half? Not only to draw even, but to go ahead. I mean, the goal here is to win. You're playing, you play to win.
Adjust and move. I mean, quite simply. The reason that FC Juárez is leading 2-1 is that they figured out that they could try and beat Detroit City with pace and ability to move the ball side to side quickly up the pitch. One touch, pass off. One touch, pass off. Conversely, in the final 20 minutes or final 15 minutes of the first half, Detroit City was waiting back, waiting for the ball to get to them on passes, not moving to the free man in space. Men without the ball were not continuing the runs the way they had. Whatever you do, you never stop running against a team like FC Juárez. Don't stand around without the ball. Move, create passing lanes, and when you get the ball, you know very fast, pacey, professional defenders are coming at you. Don't let them close you down. You're in control. You're the offense when you have the ball. Touch, move, pick your head up, and adjust. And we've got some changes here for City.
Quite a few changes, as a matter of fact. Michael Pimlott has come in. Seb Harris has come in. Ronnie Green has come in. Santiago Agudelo has come in as well. Musa Guille in there. Change at the keeper position as well. Hunter Morse will take over for Owen Finnerty. So as we suspected, and you have to keep in mind, Detroit City FC still has some work in the MPSL. Yes, they have clinched the Great Lakes Conference Division, but the bye rights are still on the line. Your case for hosting still on the line. You're still chasing for your best possible finish. In the MPSL, of course, points per match comes into play, so you certainly have to have all available avenues open to you for Saturday at Kalamazoo.
And you know what? The Detroit City faithful on Twitter have been going back and forth. We've seen the scenarios. We knew the scenarios. Here's the only scenario you need to worry about. Saturday, win. That's it. Everything else, you don't win on Saturday. The scenario's thin as to getting that bye. Really, the goal here for City is nobody gets hurt. You move, you continue to work here in the second half, and then you go out and you get 3 points on Saturday and you let the rest take care of itself.
As always, a Watch City stream brought to you by the good folks at Baker College. A long ball sent up ahead. Hunter Morse off the line will make the grab. You can send your tweets with the hashtag #WatchCity. We will get to those as the match goes on. And, of course, Strategic Staffing Solutions is the official partner of DCFC's annual international series here with FC Juárez against DCFC. And I mentioned the tweets with the hashtag #WatchCity. And here's a good one that came in. Rafa Venegas tweets at us, says, hey, can we take Max Todd and Shawn Lawson to Juárez? They are really good players. Greetings from Juárez. Thanks for the amazing broadcast. That, my friend, is the highest compliment I think that can be paid from the opposing fan base.
Can I give you a gracias, senor? Yes. Thank you very much for the kind words. And the transfer fee would have to be epic.
I'm thinking at least, 35, 40 million pounds a piece?
Sure. Yeah. club record signings.
Yeah,
Listen,
I would agree.
But I will say this. what you're seeing tonight and what you continue to see from players like Todd and Lawson is the skill set that shows that they belong at levels further along than the NPSL. They have the skill set for it, and hopefully as they further their careers, they get that chance. But nice to hear that the respect is coming.
That ball will be played off the line, but Santiago Agudelo, and we've seen Santiago come into matches, John, and really have an impact. And this is a guy that was a pure goal scorer in college at Fort Hays State, scored 26 goals in 18 matches last year, 4 hat tricks, 8 game-winning goals alone. The bottom line is the result when he comes into the game, the ball usually finds the back of the net.
Part of that is because he's such a pacey attacker.
And that shot ripped over top by the old captain, Dave Edwardson. The lad giving it a go.
He's got a Ferrari kind of motor. It warms up fast, and it runs pretty hot. And we saw that against Toledo when he scored with basically his first touch after coming on as a sub.
Seb Harris steps up, bangs it down the pitch, looking for Agudelo. Stephen Carroll punches it away, and Carroll called for the foul. And it's interesting, John, Agudelo playing up top, almost by his lonesome in the one up top.
And he can, with his pace, he can fill
do
that
it.
role.
FC Juárez, as I look out there on the pitch, rolling with the same 11. And you have to remember, they start playing Liga MX next week.
Yeah, this is their, it's kind. You know how when we talk about the NFL, there's the third preseason game. It's kind of the dress rehearsal. Well, usually your last preseason friendly, you've made a lot of the roster decisions. You're trying to get guys a full 90 of fitness. This is their last preseason friendly before they get into Liga MX play. So this isn't just an idle little kickabout. I think you're going to see some subs late. It's a hot enough day that you don't want guys to be completely sapped, and you want to see what other guys can do, but they want to see where the match fitness is, and they want them to go through the gears.
Cross into the 50th minute, 2-1.
City's playing with 4 at the back right now. It technically still is Trevor James' 3-5-2, but there's a 4th defender on the wing that's dropping back at the moment.
And Agudelo's pushing up at times on a solo mission.
Yeah, and actually, as I'm looking at City at the moment, when they are on offense, you get into that 5 in midfield in attack. Going to defense, one of those midfielders drop back. It almost is in a bit of a 4-4-2. Just trying to give a little more respect along that back line. That's a pretty good run. Watch out.
Maltz wide to the left side. Here is Santos surveying the scene. Juárez will back it up. Alson Diaz played it to the right side. Now it's chipped up ahead.
Nice overlapping run.
Making that run was Borelli. He has the go-ahead goal. Turning inside the 18 and on the move. The cross sent over. And sprinting to catch up, Mauro Fernandez. And he will chip it inside the 18 towards the center.
Eduardo Perez was down there as well. Couldn't get a boot on it.
That foul will go against FC Juárez.
I want to give credit where credit is due to the Northern Guard right now. I understand this is an international match, but it's also a midweek match. And we got a full house out there tonight. And I bring it up because
the club is going up on a Wednesday. There's no doubt.
I bring them up because they're singing my favorite song, which is "Sing for Your City." But they're already making plans. I enjoy following the Northern Guard. A lot of the key members of the group that do a lot of the planning on Twitter, and guys like Joseph Slovak are already planning a second TIFO for the start of Founders Cup season. All right, we're still a month away from the start of Founders Cup season. After the rain game on Friday, there were pictures of basically a big old drying party where a couple of Northern Guard members' backyards were filled with the banners here from Keyworth. They don't get paid to do this, and they spend money out of pocket to do it. They carpool to road trips. Seeing their side against the Liga MX club, well, that's a just reward for what those men and women do because they love their club, and they're having fun tonight. And then they deserve our praise and they deserve our thanks.
And I'll tell you what, John, to piggyback on those comments for just a second, with the Northern Guard, there's a possession held by FC Juárez. And Xavier Silva had it for a second loss. But to piggyback on those comments, the most impressive thing to me, and this is how you tell a professional in any field, right? A professional broadcaster, professional player, they're going about their business here tonight. It's not new to them. It's nothing they haven't seen before. The best clubs in the world have been through here that play in the highest leagues of soccer in Europe and Mexico. It's just business as usual for the Northern Guard, and really everybody that's affiliated. At the same time, pros, the level of professionalism they carry. '54th minute, 2-1. FC Juárez with the lead. Neil Rule, John Krieger with you. I apologize for those temporary audio difficulties. Crew's on the scene, though. Got it handled as usual. But I was making the point, it's business as usual for everyone with this organization. And yes, FC Juárez, the Liga MX, is in town. But this organization, this fan base, this club, everybody affiliated with it, has done this on this level before. And that to me, is the biggest thing I see when I look out there at this huge crowd tonight on a Wednesday night.
You know, I'm going to piggyback off that again because I was talking about all the folks planning the tifos and getting ready for Founders Cup and drying the banners and everything. Part of the atmosphere they've built is why these clubs want to come here and play. At the Grand Rapids match, there was a fan group from Chicago that came over to watch the match because they wanted to see what atmosphere at Keyworth Stadium was like.
Paid respects.
One of my forever indelible images will be the 20-minute song session between the Northern Guard and FC St. Pauli, where grown professional footballers from Bundesliga 2 were jumping around like schoolboys, twirling scarves they'd been given in the stands for 15, 20 minutes after a friendly. Part of the reason this is an attractive place for the Frozenones of the world, the Necaxas of the world, the Glentorans of the world, the FC United Manchesters of the world, the FC Juárez of the world, is because the faithful across from us in the Northern Guard and the folks who are on the family side as well have built an atmosphere here that is genuine and is real and is the soul of the game. And so, yeah, it's business as usual. And business is very, very good. And that deserves our respect, and I think it has it. I think even you're seeing some of the I enjoyed seeing the FC Juárez players during pregame warm-ups. They were looking over at the Northern Guard going, all right, like we're going to have an atmosphere tonight. We can go play. And then they went down 1-0. And
they
then
were
they
staggered
recovered,
for a minute.
Still.
They did recover. Ronnie Green with the possession. Captain Dave Edwardson threads it ahead. Michael Pimlott. And now the substitutions will begin. Leandro Carrizo will come in for FC Juárez. Eddie Brambila comes into the match as well.
Got the keeper
Gabriel
change back there.
Hashin in also.
I think that's Enrique Palos in the net. Way to keeper switch.
So Enrique Palos, as you talked about, 33 years old. He's also on loan from Tigres.
He's looking like a baseball player with the high stirrups.
Well, he is a footballer, no doubt about that. Enrique Palos, 125 matches played for Tigres since 2005.
And that's a Tigres club that is regularly in the semifinals and finals of the Scotiabank CONCACAF Champions League.
Yeah, the road to the CONCACAF Champions League often goes through Tigres. There's no question about that. So that was the answer. As Gabriel Caballero gets the bench some work at right around the 60-minute mark. Achin crosses.
A nice dummy through. City defenders challenging the man in the middle, having to respect the first man on that service. But a nice dummy through to the man on the back post. And a nice job to close him off and prevent the tap-in.
Gabriel Achin, 28 years old. That's for Dorados de Sinaloa in the Mexican second division. 59th minute, 2-1 FC Juárez with the lead. Now it's time for our weekly trivia presented by Fago. On Sunday, Detroit City FC beat AFC Ann Arbor 3-1 to become the 2019 Great Lakes Conference champions and secure their place in the 2019 playoffs. When was the last year DCFC became the conference champions? You guys know this one. This should take about 6 seconds on the Watch City Twitter feed, and it should be lit up with correct answers. Jordan Baker tweets at us, "So far, so good, boys. All are welcome to come by for a pint." He's got a picture of the match on the screen with a pint. I'll be there. Tommy Buono played it to the left. Now Evertson will chip it looking for Ronnie Green. It was headed away by Owen Guerrero Jimenez. Guerrero Jimenez, one of the youngsters here on the trip for FC Juárez, just 18 years old. That ball sent in, and the shot goes wide from Santiago Agudelo. And Agudelo was nearly triple marked inside the 18. But, John, as we take a look at the replay, he was the stronger of the three inside the box.
Beat three men, and his pace created the ability to get in there on the ball. And that's what we talk about. You know, you had talked about the fact that he could hold his own up top alone, showing it right there.
We are 2/3 of the way through this one. Juárez with the possession on the far side. Eddie Brambila, 33 years old. 4 goals in 26 matches played for Atlas in 2014 and 15 in Liga MX. Also played 7 seasons with Pachuca of Liga MX. Gabriel Caballero, the manager of FC Juárez, had a fine career at Pachuca as well. Back-to-back CONCACAF Champions Leagues in 2007 and 8. Also was the manager of Pachuca in Liga MX for 1 season. Guerrero Jimenez drops it back. And, John, you can tell the pace of the match has changed once the substitutes have come in.
Well, they've got to find their rhythm in the game, and they've got to be able to come in and get their, get up to speed. Remember, they've been sitting for an hour. You go out and you get a little run out at halftime, but they haven't been in the energy of things. It'll pick back up here in about 5 or 6 minutes, but much like in the first few minutes, you're finding your way in a game, and you're figuring out who's going to do what, and then you'll get back on form and back on speed.
And that ball will come through to the middle. Chin had it. Sent it back up top. Diaz. Fernandez, right side. 1v1, goes around his man, cleared out. Now it's sent back inside the 18, now at the top of the D. Turning, that shot was blocked by Michael Pimlott. Out of play. City fans today, John, getting their first look at number 37, Marlin Evans, the native of Guam. Played a match for the Guam national team in 2014.
Actually played in the World Cup qualifiers for Guam. So an American citizen, Guam an American territory. And getting out for that national team.
Boy, Agudelo nearly caught up with that ball rolling loose. If he did, him and Tommy Buono had a 2-on-1.
You know, I like seeing Roddy Green out there. He hasn't had a lot of time up front because it's been so
the firepower that's in front of him.
It's been so good for Todd and Lawson in the system, and it's not a 4-3-3 like it was for Ben Pierman last year. But Roddy Green, a class act, interacts with fans. There was a tweet that came through this week. Somebody, a DCFC supporter, and I was looking on my Twitter feed to try to find it, but he had found out, Roddy, that one of the Northern Guard was a cancer survivor and battling cancer, and sent a good wish and talked about the fact that, you know, he was with her in her battle and wanting to be a part of that, and that she was one of the reasons that he liked playing for this club. And that's the kind of person Roddy Green is.
Ball's loose inside the 18. That shot's blocked. Another shot fired away, and Hunter Morse will make the save off the bounce of the turf inside the box. Hunter Morse sharp, grabbing that one from the upper left 90.
Nice job by Hunter to get in there and time his jump at the right time. You know, the other thing I like to see from this city bunch, you know, Lindsey Pearson posts on Twitter all the time when they're out doing youth clinics and up with the now DCFC affiliated youth programs in Canton and up in Genesee County. You know, it really is staggering to see what these players do for the community, both on and off the pitch. A night like tonight is about so much more than the final score in a match like this. They earn the right to play in these matches because of what they do the rest of the year in representing Le Rouge.
Seb Harris with the switch on the reversal sends it over to the left side of the pitch. Talking about pros, of course, Seb Harris spent some time in England and a game-winning goal in League Two for Northampton Town. Agudelo the target. That ball touched away by Castro. And now it will trickle in to the keeper, Palos.
You know, you talked about the pace of the game changing, Neil. The other thing you talk about with the subs coming in, look at how deep City is this year. Are we talking Liga MX side professional deep? No. Are we talking one of the best teams in NPSL deep? Absolutely. Because the ability that Trevor James has to bring these players off the bench.
Boy, nifty move. That ball chipped up just off the fingertips of Hunter Morse and into the back of the net. But a high-quality finish. Gabriel Achen has come into this match. He's been dangerous since the second he stepped out onto the pitch. But how about that service up from Owen Guerrero Jimenez? And John, just as I talked about, a high-quality finish.
Just one touch over the boot of the defender.
Wow.
And a sublime chip to finish. Nothing Hunter Morse could do. He jumped a little early, was falling back, tried to corral, couldn't do it. That's a brilliant finish. Just picking your spot and placing it. That's a pretty goal.
Francisco Neveras will come in.
One touch to go over the defender and a chip over the keeper. Able to keep control through the entire thing. Well done, sir. sublime ball control to be able to chip it over the outstretched legs, get it back to you, keep control, not lose the ball, and place it.
So Nevares comes in on the substitution, as does that man, Victor Velasquez. And everybody getting some run here for FC Juárez as they lead it now 3-1. Get you the answer to our weekly trivia presented by Fago. On Sunday, DCFC beat AFC Ann Arbor to become the Great Lakes Conference champions. When was the last year DCFC became the conference champions? I saw one correct answer, which you knew NGS Hogs would chime in. He knew right away, 2013. It is 2013. Congratulations to everybody that had the correct answer. At I-76 Express, NGS Cleveland Embassy checking in.
"23 minutes now, 22 and a half minutes to go in this friendly, Neil, and now FC Juárez, they just don't want to surrender any goals. For them, it's about being technically sound. City, for these depth players, it's about going out, showing the gaffer what you can do. Nice long ball over the top if you can catch up to it. But Hunter Morse is able to collect that easily.
As we move into the 69th minute of our Watch City stream. More tweets here. Alma Bonilla tweets at us. Thanks for broadcasting the game. Good match so far. Hashtag Vamos at FC Juárez Oficial.
And look at Agudelo just challenging the two center backs if they can get service to him. Just playing right up on the shoulder of that back defender, begging for something to come out a yard in front of him so he can get onto it and finish.
It's interesting to me because Agudelo has a look in his eye that he's coming out here to prove some things to some folks during this time against this opponent.
What was it Coach Yost said in Remember the Titans, like a starving man on a Christmas ham? That's kind of how he looks. He wants people to notice him. And
at Pat's Code tweeting at us, I'm watching City at home. We appreciate that.
Still, I like City's shape through all of this. I would have liked to see a little better ball movement at times, but they haven't been ripped asunder, Neil, and that's something you can take. They've kept the system. They've kept their shape. They continue to play technically sound soccer. These are things you can take. These are things you can build on. Bo Schembechler had a quote, you never stay the same. You either get better or you get worse every day. And there are things that City can take from this game that they were able to continue to play with FC Juárez.
I thought his quote was going to be, "We lost the Rose Bowl again." I kid.
Hey, listen, I'm a Spartan. You can make that quote all you want. But
some Michigan fans got mad at me before on the stream about that. I'm just joking. Although he was 2-8 in the Rose Bowl. That ball threaded through. Cross comes in. Hey, don't kill the messenger, man. I didn't lose 8 out of 10 Rose Bowls.
No, not at all.
FC Juárez with the possession.
Nice job by City to close it down there. That forced them right back, and then Bakey Goodman. Check it, not Bakey Goodman. That's Santiago. That's Agudelo tracking all the way back into his own half.
Dave Edwardson. He's a good lad, that Dave Edwardson. One of my favorite lads out there. Stephen Carroll up ahead. Ronnie Green. And ball taken away by Owen Guerrero Jimenez. FC Juárez gives it a go. Achin curls it. Hunter Morse will escort it over the line.
Just giving it the guard of honor all the way through. Hunter Morse, he's going to be a very good keeper for Detroit City FC as we head toward the playoffs. That's a young man plays well with the back line.
Folks, remember, Level 1 Bank is the official sponsor of the Level 1 VIP section at historic Keyworth Stadium. Take your match day experience to the next level with on-field seating and unlimited food and drinks for just $50. Purchase your tickets at tickets.detcityfc.com. And there is a Level 1 Bank VIP section where it all goes down. The best value in all of Detroit sports. You get to sit on the field, eat all the food you want, all the drinks you want, the soda and beer. You feeling me here?
I do.
Make it happen.
And, the Northern Guard has tweets or has songs that they sing at minutes. When I'm down in the Level 1 VIP section, when we don't have a broadcast, I do the same thing. 5 minutes on the clock, I have a beer. 8 minutes on the clock, I have slows. 10 minutes on the clock, I have another beer. You can work your way through.
It's a timed exercise as we take a hydration break at Keyworth Stadium. Opening kick temperature was 89 degrees. Temperature was in the 90s all day long. FC Juárez, after trailing 1-0, now with the 3-1 lead. Shawn Lawson got it started in the 18th minute. And a beautiful goal off the setup from Max Todd. And if you're looking for a neighborhood bar to go to after any DCFC game or just a fun night out in Hamtramck, just walk down the street, swing by and see our friends at the Painted Lady.
Painted Lady, one of the great bars in Hamtramck. One of the bars that have so embraced Detroit City FC since their move to this enclave of Detroit.
It's the
and
train.
Now the Canadian National coming through.
Absolutely, and there's the horn. Gets a response from the crowd here at Keyworth Stadium, as it always does.
A lot of auto carriers coming through on that train.
Let's take a look at the upcoming matches. Of course, all eyes will be in Kalamazoo on Saturday. Detroit City FC trying to earn a bye in the playoffs. And, of course, as you talked about earlier, the annual friendly against Windsor TFC on Tuesday, August 6th. The Indy 11 of the USL Championship will be in the following Tuesday. That'll be a lot of fun also.
And that's going to be a nice tune-up as you get ready for Founders Cup. Going to be a nice grind through the gears again of an upper-level American club that's going to be able to come through and give you a good, strong test at home. And the other thing that's very important for the club, you take a look at that, you got the playoffs coming up. You could have one or more playoff games here at Keyworth, then a friendly on the 6th of August, a friendly against Indy 11 on the 13th of August. So you bridge that gap and you keep the momentum, because we've seen this every year here at Keyworth Stadium, Neil. The crowds build as we get into July, and now they don't have to stop coming. They can go all the way through to the Founders Cup season.
Substitution coming in for FC Juárez. Patricio Zericero coming in. Another youngster, just 19 years old, as the play ready to start up again from the hydration break. Motor City Casino Hotel is the official hotel and casino of DCFC. Be sure to log on to DebtCityFC.com to watch the Motor City match recap from tonight's match. Everyone that goes on the website to check that out, I certainly do appreciate it, as I will get you the Motor City match recap shortly after the match is over.
15 to go here, and you won't see a whole lot of stoppage time, I would think, from our officials in a friendly tonight. Now it's all about finishing strong for City.
I'd be remiss to mention, too, when you come out to these future matches, if you haven't done so, make sure you stop by the Folding Warehouse. Get involved with the March to the Match.
It is
really
truly
good
a great
time.
tradition. Have you actually seen the March come in? I know we're usually up here.
I've seen it before. I have not been a part of it as of yet, because usually we're busy during that time. I'm going to have to make my way out there one of these times.
Tell you what, if we're not on the air for one of these friendlies, or if something changes, or if you have a minute, about 45 minutes out in our prep, go out and watch the massive humanity come in.
It's incredible.
It's just fun to watch.
It is incredible. 77th minute, FC Juárez with the 3-1 lead. George Chamakov touches it up ahead. Chamakov from Bulgaria. Didn't speak English when he came here to America. was actually called Georgie as a child because his green card was spelled incorrectly. But George Chomikoff certainly has made his impact on the soccer community here in Hamtramck. There's no question about that.
Absolutely. Been involved with the Cosmos programs. And by the way, now has a pretty good new pitch to play on, too. So much so, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Hamtramck actually hosted an MHSAA district this year. The first time they had been able to host at this level.
Which is incredible to think about. The stadium basically was more or less condemned. Yeah. And now MHSAA coming to host regionals here certainly is something for everybody that's been a part of it. Anybody who invested $1, anybody who put in time, painting bleachers, all that stuff. That's certainly something that you should take a victory lap on. There's no question. FC Juárez with the control. Ball touched through the back. Another wave of substitutions. Look like it's coming for Detroit City FC. This might be a record. There's six players.
Well, I think he's bringing on some of the starters again.
Right. Of course, with it being a friendly.
A little re-entry rule.
Yep. The re-entry rules are relaxed.
Maybe get them 10 more good minutes of keeping their good form. You know, you don't want to sit them down too much. And
the train was a hit in the hashtag Watch City Twitter feed.
Not all of the responses
Switzerland.
we can read.
Allison, I can't read that one, but I think you get where I'm going. I do enjoy that tweet, though. I'll give it a like right there. And now the mass substitution for City. Tendai Jadida will come back in. Danny Deacon. Lay Diop, Bakey Goodman, Shawn Lawson, Max Todd, who certainly sent a bolt of electricity through the stadium earlier. Dave Edwardson will come out, among others. And I'll be curious to see here this final 11 minutes plus whatever stoppage time there is. Let's see how this match flips with these guys coming back in.
Look, Trevor James doesn't waste time. I would be willing to bet some of the substitutions we saw. He was over there on the touchline going, all right, this is what I want from you when next you're back out there. If he was planning on doing this, to see if they can put a plan or something into place that they can use to build on for Saturday. And already the pace for City, they're coming right out of the ball. Very aggressive. Bakey Goodman there closing down a man and a nice takeaway.
Yeah, business is picking up out there on the pitch. There's no question about that. Ball played back in towards Hunter Morse. And here's Seb Harris. '80th minute. Bakey Goodman with the touch to Shawn Lawson, the goal scorer.
And he just burns by a guy.
Lawson still on the move. Lawson chips it. Max Todd has it. His cross was blocked.
I like the pace up the wing. Lawson just put it into another gear and created the opportunity. And now another step in by Jadida. Check it by Lay Diop. City just bombing forward right now. Stephen Carroll's moved out to a wing. This is the let's chase the game a little bit and see if our pace can do something. Burst of energy.
Possession dominated here by City. Ball sent ahead. Max Todd on the move. He'll get on the end of it. Carroll up with him. Lawson on the far side. Carroll makes an overlapping run. Instead it goes to Deacon. Seb Harris. Lay Diop in the middle of the pitch. Bakey Goodman. Jadida. Lawson the target on that left side. Can he get around the defender? Ball trickles just over the line. And the throw-in awarded to FC Juárez.
I love this pace right now, Neil. This is what you like to see from this bunch of City boys. just absolutely taking the game to their Mexican visitors. If they're going to go down, they're going to go down swinging. Just 2 at the back right now. Extra defender committing forward.
Deacon played it off the back foot.
That's a foul, yep. And our first booking.
Jadida taken down.
Not often you see the cards come out in a friendly. That was deserved, though. 2-foot lunging tackle in a competitive fixture. Those studs were up.
Zedicero hit with that yellow card. The 19-year-old still upset with the official.
Oh, nice control. Now run it down. Look at Stephen Carroll.
Sent in towards Todd, just out of his reach.
Perfect service by Stephen. Nobody on the end of it. Dropped it on a dime into space.
Todd goes back wide to the left. Here's Seb Harris. Stepping up, shot is blocked from Lay-Diop. So we're into the 84th minute. As you said, though, John City bombing forward. Stephen Carroll is all the way up from his right back position, calling for the reversal.
There are 2 center backs back there, and it really isn't 2. It's 1.
It's 1.
Pimlet is playing center back in
Center back.
only, and he's kind of up and waiting to go. It's Marlin Evans, the trialist, who's really the lone center back. Can we even call him a center back? He's the back.
Detroit City Fieldhouse is Detroit's newest indoor athletic facility located in the heart of the city. Leagues are now forming for adults and youth. Check out DebtCityFC.com for more information.
And I love this from City. I don't know that you could ever see this, but perhaps this is great training if you are Trevor James for, God forbid, you're 2 down in a playoff game. What are you going to do? Play forward, chase the game, all hands to the pumps, let's go. You know what? Against a team like FC Juárez, you can go ahead and try that. City hasn't really been in that position all that much over the last 11 matches. And so you're using every minute that you have here on the pitch to try to learn something, test a scenario in a way you can do different than in training. And City have done a great job of chasing the game. This is really the first sustained possession by Juárez since the starters re-entered.
Vinny Agra played it out wide to the right, but then trickles across the line. More tweets with the hashtag WatchCity. Ryan Handy, enjoy listening to Neil Rule and watching DCFC with my daughter Kyla.
What's up, Kyla? Nice to have you along for the ride. Look at Stephen Carroll is a center back that is trying to play attacking midfielder right now, and I am here for all of it.
Velasquez flashed some closing next level speed getting back to that ball. Now FC Juárez will play it ahead. 86th minute. Just over the line, throw-in awarded to City.
Other than the lead-up and play that led to the goal, this might be City's best 12-minute stretch of the match. They have not allowed Juárez to have possession at all. And I don't think it's for lack of trying by the visitors.
Boy, there was flashed again by Victor Velasquez, 28-year-old veteran of the Paraguayan First Division. Shawn Lawson sends it back to Diop. Pimlott to the top of the D, looking for Bakey Goodman or Max Todd, but found neither. Viniegra up towards the midfield stripe. Very strong switch across the pitch by Nevarez.
Great job by Carroll again. Stephen Carroll's been fun in the last 5 minutes on the near wing. And now he gets back, and he's the last man back and forced the ball back to where he could get possession again.
Shawn Lawson, the target. But instead, one more time, closing out is Velasquez. Nevarez. Far right side attack, Acosta. Viniegra again. As the smoke pours out of the Northern Guard supporter section.
And I think I get the color scheme, Neil. We have green, gray, which could be substituted for white, and red for the Mexican flag, perhaps? If so, well played.
Absolutely. It's been fun here at Keyworth. It always is. High-level opposition. One of the best leagues in the world.
And they held their own.
They certainly did.
And especially
they
in
asked
the
some
last 10
questions.
minutes. They did. There were a couple of
Now
minutes.
they got a response.
They did.
But they asked the questions.
And that's all you can ask for sometimes.
No doubt.
Acquit yourself well.
Max Todd almost slipped through. Well, if City could get one here and then in the next minute,
they'd go nuts.
This place will go electric.
Another nice cutout by City. Domination in midfield right now.
Banky Goodman on the far left. Jadida. Stephen Carroll calling for another switch, but FC Juárez will take it away. It's 1v3 for Brambilla, and he peeled it back. Guerrero Jimenez.
Again, a nice job by Carroll to block the service. That young man is going to deserve his post-game meal.
And that whistle will go against FC Juárez. Brambilla hit with it. Brambilla, 7 seasons with Pachuca of Liga MX. Now it's time for the official attendance, brought to you by Rip It Energy, the official energy drink of Detroit City FC. Tonight's official attendance, 6,901. Pushing 7,000 here at Keyworth on a Wednesday.
And they have been into it all match.
From second one.
So as we head into what will be 2 minutes of stoppage time, the pluses for City, a lot of good ball control, like that.
Deacon goes back to Lawson. He's up with Todd. Shawn Lawson steps through, finds Deacon. Deacon, the left foot just misses the right post. Boy, Shawn Lawson and Danny Deacon, absolutely lethal.
Shawn put it on a tee. Look at that touch. And
that was
Danny
actually saved by the keeper, Palos. He got a hand on it, I believe, because the corner's been awarded.
Well.
Todd sends it towards the back post, headed back towards the frame, and Enrique Palos will make the grab. Palos, over 125 matches played for Tigres since 2005. He's on loan from Tigres.
Much like Frosinone last year, had a keeper on loan from some club called Juventus. Some of these lower clubs in the division taking advantage of the loan system.
I do remember that. They had a 19-year-old from Juventus. Was about 6'3", 6'4".
Controlled his crease well.
No doubt. Ball hoofed ahead. I know that's very simple, but that was elegant to watch. Elio Castro head that back to the keeper.
That's just oh, look. I have to be a professional.
So confident.
Here you go. Easy. No worry, just all right.
Danny Deacon.
Nice play out wide. Nice use of the wing.
Chadida. Trying to make his move, dispossessed. So it was popped away from him.
But I'll tell you what, got right back into position. Didn't compound his mistake.
We are in stoppage time. And the whistle sounds. And it's a final here at historic Keyworth Stadium. FC Juárez comes back from being behind 1-0 to get a 3-0 win in front of almost 7,000 people here at Keyworth.
And it's a great night and a great performance by City, one that is befitting of the club and one that Trevor James and company can be very proud of. The Gaffer's got to be pleased tonight.
As we mentioned earlier, John, City asked some questions. There's no question about it. In the 37th minute, they got the response. After Shawn Lawson's goal, Edor Borelli scored in the 37th minute. Then a minute later, Lucas Xavier Silva in the 38th minute. And that would go down as the game winner. And there is Stephen Carroll and Shawn Lawson walking off. Stephen Carroll, tonight's man of the match, and you pegged it. You didn't see it necessarily on the camera the whole night, but if you were watching the pitch, you saw number 5 everywhere.
He went. This is a center back. His job during the NPSL season is to sit back there and make sure nobody scores. He anchors that back line. Tonight, he was up on the wings. He was in that fullback's role. He was in midfield cutting out passes. Stephen Carroll putting a professional effort in against the professional Mexican side. Really the best player on the pitch. And his play in the last 10 minutes when the starters came back in that kind of chase the game drill, absolutely outstanding. Keep that in your back pocket if City needs it come the NPSL playoffs.
Stephen Carroll, the man of the match. Man, it was a lot of fun. Let's take one more look at those upcoming matches for Detroit City FC. Of course, all eyes turn to Kalamazoo on Saturday. Detroit City FC, as we take a look at what some of the possibilities are. A City win and a Minneapolis loss or Cleveland draw or loss would get City a Midwest playoff bye. But to do that, you got to take care of that business at the top of that graphic at Kalamazoo FC on Saturday.
Yeah, really, look, the scenarios will play themselves out. 3 words, just win, baby. That's all it is. Get 3 points, 3 words, 3 points. Just win, and then let things take care of themselves. If you win and the other 2 take care of business and you have to play in that play-in game, well, you've done your part. You go 12 matches unbeaten. That's all you can ask for. So but the rest of it, you go ahead and you see what happens.
That'll do it for our coverage here at historic Keyworth Stadium on our Watch City stream, brought to you by Baker College. For my broadcast partner, John Krieger, and our entire crew, my name is Neil Rule. FC Juárez with a 3-1 win. Thank you for watching, everybody. Well, see you later.